A franchise that has been around for almost 30 years, 8 movies, and over $4 billion in box office revenue. The Mission Impossible franchise is a mammoth when it comes to action, next only to the James Bond franchise. But how did this all start? Did you know the series is actually based on a TV series by the same name that aired from 1966 to 1973? The series had all that you've been seeing in the Mission Impossible movie franchise: self-destructing messages, mask, disguise, and, wait for it, the soundtrack. Yup, the iconic Mission Impossible soundtrack. So while Paramount Pictures wanted to do a movie based on the series, but the project had been on hold for a while. And then one fine day, Tom Cruise jumped onto it. Tom reminisced watching the Mission Impossible series as a kid and thought it would be really cool to turn this into a movie. At this point, he was at the peak of his stardom and had just started his own production house. And so he decided that this would be his first movie as a producer. Well, with that out of the way, the real struggle started. Setting up a team behind it and, most importantly, a director. Tom Cruise was having dinner with Steven Spielberg one day where he met Brian De Palma. Now, Brian De Palma was a director from a very different school of thought. To give you an idea, he made movies like Carrie, Scarface, yes, the Scarface,
Say hello to my little friend.
and Untouchables. And the mass action space was not his genre at all. But Tom Cruise felt this is just what the film needed. A smart, skilled director who could keep the audience at the edge of their seats. A lot of people thought this would spell disaster for all, including De Palma himself initially. But Tom Cruise convinced everyone, and the rest is history. So well, with that bit of trivia, let's dive into Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. So in continuation of the previous part, Dead Reckoning Part 1, in this movie Tom Cruise battles a rogue AI group called The Entity, who wants to gain control of all the nuclear weapons around the world, and well, it's Tom Cruise aka Ethan Hunt who needs to stop them. Now, just like any other movie in the Mission Impossible series, this movie boasts of great action as well. Action is almost synonymous with the Mission Impossible franchise. In fact, fun fact, did you know that Tom Cruise began doing all his stunts in this series because in the first movie, director Brian De Palma felt that an action sequence with a stunt double lacked authenticity. So Tom Cruise stepped in and said he'll do it himself. This was a very risky stunt and Tom Cruise could have drowned, but he did it nevertheless. And Tom Cruise has only upped the stunt and action quotient of the series ever since. And these are scenes that stay with you for years. I mean, I still vividly remember Tom Cruise free soloing a mountain in Utah before throwing off his self-destructing sunglasses and thinking it was so cool. Or the Burj Khalifa sequence in Ghost Protocol. The building jump in Mission Impossible Fallout. Well, fun fact for you here, he actually broke his leg in this scene, and the limp you see is real. Insane bike cliff jump off scene in Dead Reckoning Part 1. And well, this movie doesn't disappoint on that front either. The submarine scene and the airplane scene are both insane. The movie has been made on a budget of $400 million and it shows. Well, not the entire 400, but it does look like an insane, sick, big budget movie. The cinematography is also really good and does justice to the overall scale of the movie as well. I also really like the production design and VFX in the movie, with Dead Reckoning Part 1 actually being nominated for Best VFX for the Oscars. So well, with all these positive highlights, let's see where the movie falters. What pulls the movie down the most is the screenplay. Going into the final installment of this series, as a viewer, I expect crazy action and I want it soon. But the movie takes way too long to get there. There's a lot of dialogue and build-up, and what doesn't really help either is that the background music isn't used cleverly for these scenes. With effective intercutting in the edit and a pacey background score, these build-up scenes could have actually kept you hooked, but they fail to do so and feel like a snooze fest. The movie also gets overly indulgent in some sequences. Some action sequences are too stretched out, and so are some scenes with spectacular visuals. It's almost like the makers wanted to prove that, hey, see, we're trying to make this bigger than ever before. But what they lost track of was the pacing. It's about making it bigger and better. The movie also lacked emotion in some key scenes, but well, I won't spell these out for you and give you spoilers. And lastly, a lot of the sequences don't really make any sense. Like Tom Cruise is deep sea diving and takes off his mask to breathe better and rushes towards the surface of the water. In reality, his lungs would have burst midway or right as he hit the surface. On the whole, I feel the movie definitely lacked the vibe of an epic finish to an iconic series, and I was definitely underwhelmed. It's still a decent standalone movie, but didn't live up to the expectations and legacy. Now, before I rate this movie, let's take a look at how the other movies stack up in this franchise. So, at the top of the list, we have Mission Impossible Fallout at 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb. Then we've got Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning at 7.6. Then we have Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation both at 7.4. Then we have MI1 at 7.2, MI3 at 6.9, and MI2 sits at the bottom with a rating of 6.1 on 10. So where would I place Final Reckoning? Well, on the B&B meter, I'm going to give this movie 6.5 on 10. Well, have you watched the movie yet? Well, if you have, then do let me know what your thoughts were on it. Also, do go ahead and drop in a comment on any interesting trivia you might know about the series. And hey, if you like this video, then please go ahead and like and share it and spread the love. And lastly, before you leave, go and hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. Cheers guys, and I'll see you soon.